What's up, college football addicts? Today I'm going to talk with you about Ohio State and why them hiring Chip Kelly is going to be absolute nightmare fuel for the rest of the Big 10. Before we get started, take a quick moment and hit that subscribe button because we're going to be releasing lots of kick-ass content this offseason in an effort to fully distract you from the crap shows which politics will be with this upcoming election. That's right. Screw politics. Instead, you can argue with us about college football. So recently, Ohio State hired Chip Kelly. There's tons of interesting things about this hiring, but first I want to tell you a quick story. It's 2009, and Chip Kelly led Oregon, gets beat by Boise State. This is an infamous game because the loss ended with Ducks running back LeGarrette Blount responding to a Bronco player's taunts by punching him in the face on national television. After the game, an Oregon season ticket holder throws an absolute hissy fit and writes a letter demanding a refund for his expenses after traveling to see the game. Well, surprisingly, Chip Kelly replied to the man, and he responded with a personal check written out for his travel costs, exactly $439. In response, the fan wrote him a thank you note enclosing the original check, which he did not cash, but instead made copies of and framed on his wall. Now, I know what you're thinking. What the heck does this have to do with anything? But I told you this story because I want you to understand something about Chip Kelly. The man does not think within a box. He's a divergent thinker. So I want you to keep this in your mind as we continue because we're going to be revisiting it. Now, some of you out there have asked me how Chip Kelly even got this job. What caused Bill O'Brien to take the Boston College role after only being at Ohio State for a month? I know a lot of people who laughed when he left so quickly, and I know many of you Ohio State fans will already know this, but for the non-Ohio State fans out there who are sharpening their knives for the comment section, from what I understand, Bill O'Brien took the BC job because his son has a unique brain disorder, and that disorder gets treated in the Boston region. For those Ohio State haters out there, sorry to disappoint you, the man actually cared about his family. Unfortunately, for all you Ohio State haters out there, this is pretty much where the good news ends. Because unlike Bill O'Brien, who believes in optimizing the basics and using fundamentals, Chip Kelly is much more like a mad scientist. He's much more cut from a cloth like the late, great Mike Leach. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the stats, the years after years of leading top offenses, the years after years of Coach of the Year awards. But for those young viewers out there, just know that Chip Kelly revolutionized this game and changed the college football game forever. Before Chip Kelly, teams would not go out of the hurry up without huddling in an effort to fully exhaust the defense. That was started because of Chip Kelly. Before Chip Kelly, teams never used to fall down and fake injuries to get a breather. Things that you see in the modern football age, things that were directly impacted and directly influenced because of what Chip Kelly did to our game. Now, I want you guys to remember how close Ohio State came to beating last year's national champion in Michigan. They were driving late in that game to take the lead and just barely fell short. A Michigan team with a far more experienced quarterback and far more experience probably all the way across the board. They could have easily been in the playoffs instead of Michigan and could have easily won it all. And this is before Chip Kelly even steps foot in the door. My point is this: Ohio State has elite talent. They probably are more talented than any other team in college football other than Georgia. And I'd say they're pretty much on par with Georgia at this point. So they're not handing Chip Kelly the keys to a Toyota Camry or a Honda Civic. They're handing Chip Kelly the keys to an absolute Lamborghini. Now, I know Chip Kelly has had his struggles at UCLA and in the NFL, and I know a lot of Ohio State haters think that he's past his prime and isn't a threat, but I'm telling you guys, you're making a major mistake underestimating Chip Kelly. Kelly's biggest problems at UCLA and the NFL was he had too many things to make decisions on. He couldn't captain the ship anymore. Too many things to distract him. But when you get to Ohio State, you have the perfect fit for Chip Kelly. Ryan Day can focus on the big picture, the recruiting, the management, the steering of the ship, and Kelly can dig in and focus on the details of how to outthink defensive coordinators in the Big 10. And when you narrow Kelly's scope of work to only needing to outthink defensive coordinators, something magical is likely going to happen. And I suspect you haters are going to realize it very soon next year as Ohio State starts stomping mud holes in the teams they play. Ultimately, what are your thoughts on Chip Kelly? How do you think this marriage is going to go? I truly believe it's going to be very successful. I truly believe that this is something that will put Ohio State over the top. Ohio State can already basically pencil themselves into a playoff spot next year, going to a 12-team playoff. They can pencil themselves in whether they beat Michigan finally, which that's a whole nother conversation on Ryan Day and finally getting over that hump. But they can almost certainly pencil themselves in, as I would be shocked if the top 3 or 4 teams from the Big 10 and the SEC didn't make it. It would be a shock to me if Ohio State was somehow the 5th best team in the Big 10. It would be a shock to me if they didn't make the playoff at this point. And that's before you add in the Chip Kelly factor. What are your thoughts? Let us know down in the comments. Let's talk about that. Again, Ohio State fan, not an Ohio State fan, doesn't matter. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. We're going to do more content just like this, trying to break down big picture college football things and then dive into some specific team stuff as well. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Let's talk about Ohio State, Chip Kelly down in the comments. Thank you for always tuning in to College Football Addiction.